Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Jen. Today I'm here with my November wrap-up. So as you could see in the thumbnail, I don't actually have a stack of books this month. That doesn't mean I didn't read anything. I did end up reading 4 books in the month of November. 2 of those were audiobooks and 2 of those were ebooks. So I don't have physical copies of them. So as I said in one of my previous videos, November was a pretty rough month for us, so I didn't really get a whole lot of reading done. The first book that I did end up reading in November was Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. I gave this book a 2 out of 5. I finished reading it. It wasn't a very long book, and I finished reading it, and I was just really confused because it didn't make any sense at all to me. Like, I get that it was science fiction. It's very science fiction. I feel like I have to go watch the movie and hope that it makes more sense because reading the book left me really confused. I'm not planning on continuing on and reading the rest of the series just because, like, the first book was a very slow read for me. It took me a very long time to read it. And it just, I didn't really enjoy it all that much. So it's kind of disappointing. And yeah, it's basically about a biologist who goes on this research trip to Area X, which is this place in the world where, like, there's weird things going on, and basically they're not expecting anyone to come back from this research trip. She has to keep a journal, and yeah, it's just really confusing to explain because I don't even really understand what happened in it. I don't know, like, I like science and I like biology, but this was just not, like, it didn't make any sense to me. So that's why I gave it a 2, because I still finished it and there were parts of it that were okay, and it's just, but other than that, it was just okay. It wasn't an awesome book, and I don't know why they made a movie about it, but I guess maybe I'll watch the movie, maybe it'll be better. Maybe I can get the whole story by watching the movie, because I'm not going to be reading the other two books when it took so much to read this other one. The second book that I read in the month of November was Everless by Sarah Holland. I ended up giving this one a 4 out of 5, so I really enjoyed this one. This was my book club's read for the month of November. I'm really glad that I read it, and, like, I remember when it first came out earlier in the year, it didn't sound like something that I wanted to read. Like, it didn't sound interesting to me, but I actually ended up really enjoying it, and I'm glad that I read it. So it's a fantasy world where time is considered the currency. If you don't have any money, what people do is they go and they, like, have some blood drawn, and that blood is turned into coins, and to make use of these coins, whoever they end up paying for it, like, can put it into, like, a drink and dissolve it and drink it, or soup and dissolve it and eat it. Just put it in a liquid, dissolve it, and then they will live a little bit longer. And yeah, it was actually really good, and I liked it a lot. I thought it was really well paced, and it just was a great story. And I thought it was being set up for a love triangle, but there's some stuff that happens, and you're just like, what? Did not see that coming. So the ending left on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I really want to read the next book now. And I'm glad that it comes out, I think, soon, like, not too long. Like, it's not too far away when it comes out. So I'm glad that it's coming out soon, so I can hopefully read that sooner than later. The third book that I read in the month of November was Wizard's First Rule by Terry Goodkind. This is the story, like, this is a classic fantasy story. It's called, like, the series is The Sword of Truth. It follows Richard Cypher as he becomes the seeker of truth, and basically he needs to find a way to save the world, and he does this with Kaylin, the Mother Confessor. She doesn't want to tell him who she is because she comes from a magical land and he doesn't come from a magical land. Where he comes from is, it's called Westland, and there's like a barrier between Westland and the Midlands, which is where Kaelin is from, and they have to go through this barrier because that's where he has to go to find a box. So I think they're called boxes of Orden, and there's 3 of them. They have to find this third box because Darkenrall, who is the king or whatever, who's like trying to take over and be like the leader of the world, is really evil, and he likes to torture people, and he killed Richard's father because he's looking for a book that Richard's father had, which is called the Book of Shadows. And yeah, it's just a classic, like it's classic fantasy. It was really good. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Like, main characters are Richard and Kaelin. I named my daughter Kaelin after the Kaelin in this book, but I had never read the book. But we were watching the television show because there was a television show for it when I was pregnant, and we really liked the names. So that's how my daughter got her name, which is really funny. But I mean, yeah, I just really enjoyed it, and I don't know if I'm going to continue on. I might continue on with the series. People have said they don't really like the sequels as much, so I don't know. I might continue on. I did listen to the audiobook of this one, so that probably helped me enjoy it more than I would have, because there's like a lot of info dumping, and like it's, for some reason, I like absorb all the information easier while listening to an audiobook. I don't know. I enjoyed it though. So I'm glad that I read it, and hopefully I will continue on with the series eventually. And the final book that I read in the month of November was my only 5-star read of the month, and that was The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin. It is the 3rd and final book in the Broken Earth trilogy. I listened to this one on audio. I listened to the whole series on audio, and I just, like, the ending of this series was just amazing. Like, it was it was the perfect ending to a series. Like, I don't think it could have been wrapped up any better. I really enjoyed it, and I can't really go into a whole lot of details because it's the conclusion, but the writing was just as good as the first 2 books, and it was like, I think I liked this one more than the first 2 books. Like, I think this final book was even better for me than the first 2 books. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and I am probably going to check out more of her works in the future because, like, yeah, it was just really good, and I'm glad that I read it. So yeah, those are the 4 books that I read in the month of November. It's a very slow reading month for me. Normally I've read a lot more. I have a couple other books that I've been working on. So my goal for December is to finish up all the books I'm reading and be ready to start new ones in the new year. So hopefully I can do that. We'll see. It's December's a busy month for me. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I'm going to try my best. So yeah, let me know down below what you read in the month of November, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!